Hey G fans, GoGFan93 here as well as Super Godzilla Gaming, and welcome to the final episode of the Godzilla Retrospective. We have come very far in our retrospective series of Godzilla games. We've gone from the Commodore 64 days all the way to current times with your mobile phones. But it is now to bring the best of the best in this final episode, so let's begin. The first game to show for today needs no introduction. Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee is a full 3D fighting game released in 2002 for the GameCube, developed by Pipeworks and published by Atari. The game was then later ported to 2003 for the original Xbox. This was the very first Godzilla game I ever played, and it is truly one of the best G games to exist.
The game's story involves a new kind of alien enemy to the Godzilla mythos named the Vortak. They send a transmission to Earth, telling that they have control of Earth's monsters, and that we surrender to them or else they will destroy humanity with the monsters. It's up to you to stop the Vortak from taking over the planet by doing what monsters know best, fighting one another.
The game has 11 monsters to play as, 12 for the Xbox version, as Kiryu is a exclusive character to the Xbox. You can unlock monsters by playing the single-player campaign and beating Mechagodzilla 2 at the end. You can also unlock a large variety of stages to play on, as well as changing the stages to a day or night style. Other things to collect are gallery items that you can unlock during the campaign. The harder the difficulty, the better chances of getting a new gallery item will appear after destroying a specific building.
The game's overall presentation is exceptional, the character designs are great looking, and the stages themselves are very large for a fighting game. On the Xbox version, the graphics are greatly improved with better texture quality. The music as well has a fierce tone to it, getting you pumped to fight.
How can you top this kind of game? Well, the next game certainly can. Celebrating Godzilla's 50th anniversary was a big deal for Toho, with a movie, merchandise, and of course an amazing video game. Godzilla Save the Earth is the sequel for Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee, developed once again by Pipeworks and published by Atari for the original Xbox and PS2 in 2004. This is arguably the best Godzilla game to date, and for good reason.
The story involves the return of the Vortak, only this time by their queen, Vorticious. They want to steal the G-cells using their ultimate weapon, Space Godzilla. Same thing as before, pick your monster and start beating up the enemy kaiju. During the game's campaign, you can pick up G-cells to earn extra points. At the end of the campaign, if you beat the game on a harder difficulty, you fight Space Godzilla, and after winning, you blast him into a black hole.
Things are a bit different for unlocking in this game. A new addition is challenges. These mini-games make the player do specific types of games to earn points, like playing basketball, shooting UFOs from the sky, and even fighting Orga's 3 forms. Instead of just beating the campaign to unlock monsters for destroying buildings to get gallery items, you must earn enough points and buy them in the shop screen. Everything has doubled in this game. There are a total of 18 monsters to play as well as a huge amount of gallery items, including concept art from Godzilla Final Wars.
The game also supported online play, making it the first Godzilla game with this ability. Unfortunately, since the original Xbox's servers were shut down, you can no longer play online. It is still possible to play online with the PS2 version though.
Last in the Atari trilogy, we have Godzilla Unleashed for the Wii and PS2, developed by Pipeworks and published by Atari. This would be the last Godzilla game developed by Pipeworks. Once again, the game tried to top itself by adding a lot more stuff. First off, let's talk about the story.
The story of Godzilla Unleashed is a lot more complex than the previous games. The story takes place 20 years after the events of Godzilla Save the Earth. It begins with a meteor shower falling to the Earth, causing major disasters around the world, such as climate shifts and earthquakes. Crystals start to appear all around the world, and at the same time the monsters begin to destroy cities due to the changes across the world. The Vortak return as well and use the crystals to their advantage to try and take over the Earth. Towards the end of the game, it is revealed Space Godzilla is behind the crystal calamity, as he was trying to escape the alternate dimension he was thrown into in the last game. As you can probably tell, the game's plot is way more complex than the previous 2 games.
Along with the game's plot, there are once again many changes to the style. For one, the controls have shifted to a motion control for the Wii version. The PS2 version remains the same style from Save the Earth. You now have to swing the Wiimote and nunchuck to perform attacks and special moves. There's also a new mechanic of absorbing the crystals around the map, and once you absorb too much, you hit critical mass, which basically makes your character faster and stronger.
When it comes to the monster roster, there is now a total of 26 playable monsters for the Wii version, and only 20 for the PS2 version. There was originally supposed to be a PSP version of the game, but that was scrapped in favor of the PS2 version.
Next we have the latest Godzilla game, simply titled Godzilla, aka Godzilla vs. Developed by Natsumi Atari and published by Bandai Namco for the PS3 in 2014, and then later being ported to the PS4 in 2015. This game is not a fighting game, and goes back to the style that Godzilla Generations did, where you walk around methodically destroying everything in your path. The plot is similar to an average Godzilla flick of the military fighting off Godzilla's rampage.
The game has a couple of modes, first being God of Destruction mode, which is the campaign, King of Kaiju mode, which pits you against 6 randomly selected monsters, and Diorama mode, which allows you to make cool-looking screenshots of minifigures based on the monster models.
In the game, the goal is to destroy generators. Once all the generators are destroyed in an area, the level is complete. You also grow as you absorb G energy. You start the game at 50 meters, but then can grow up to sometimes over 100 meters. The more you grow, the more powerful you become.
The game also has a secret ending if you manage to grow to 100 meters in the campaign, depending on which kaiju you play as. If you're playing as Hasty Godzilla, you transform into Burning Godzilla and fight the 2014 version of Godzilla. Once you beat him, Burning Godzilla is frozen. Then Mechagodzilla or Kiryu, depending on who you fought previously, grabs you and slam dunks you into the ocean Godzilla x Mechagodzilla style.
The game does have unlockables, and a good amount of it. You can unlock monsters by fighting them in the campaign, and you can also upgrade them in the evolution mode to make your character stronger. This comes in handy for the multiplayer mode.
Yes, this game does have a multiplayer mode where you can fight other players online, but unfortunately it was implemented very late in development, and as a result it's very unbalanced due to the upgrade system. This is the latest Godzilla game to have been released.
Now before we end it, there is one more cameo Godzilla managed to get himself into. In the game Ace Combat Infinity, there was a collaboration between Godzilla vs. and Ace Combat to have Godzilla appear in one of the levels you fight in. Well guys, that brings us to the end of our journey of Godzilla's history through video games. We hope you enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun making this. This was a very fun series to make, and we just hope you guys enjoyed it and got a little bit of information about all the Godzilla games out there, and even some that you didn't even know, because there were a lot of games that I didn't even know existed. I want to give a big shout out to Super Godzilla Gaming. Thanks to him, I was able to compile a great list of all these Godzilla games. There were a bunch of games I didn't even know existed that he helped me out with, and also providing some footage for the episodes.
Hey, don't even worry about it, Goji fan. It was my pleasure. Take it easy.
And also big shout out goes to Toho Kingdom and also Wikizilla. Those two sites we used a lot. We cited their sites while writing the script, and they helped out a lot with information on those sites about some of the games that we didn't really know, that neither me or Super Godzilla Gaming knew about. So big shout out to Wikizilla and Toho Kingdom. Thank you guys so much. Now one more question that I want to say is, what is next for Godzilla in video games? Well, so far there isn't really anything that's new. There isn't a new official game that was announced, but there is one thing that is coming out soon called Project City Shrouded in Shadow. And that game supposedly is a survival kaiju game that has Ultraman and Godzilla monsters in it. So it's kind of a Godzilla cameo, but that's pretty much the only thing we're getting that's future related to Godzilla games. So that's what we can look forward to in the future. And once again guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay big G fans.